decks, for lack of a better term. You know, when you're firing on all cylinders, you get to annihilate your opponent, and when you're not, you kind of get annihilated. So there's that. James Newman on your right, Matt Guido on your left. We actually saw Guido yesterday a little bit. He lost his on-camera feature match when he was playing Mono Blue Devotion. We'll see if he can win this one, and with any luck, be able to draw in the top 8 next round.
Yeah, he, again, leaning on Bug Delver, and is on the draw. That's rough for any Delver deck, particularly one that is up against such an explosive deck.
Wasteland going to take down Cloud Post right away. What I was going to say there before that got Wastelanded is, you know, when your opponent plays a Cloud Post on turn 1, you as a player, almost no matter what you're playing, you get a little scared. You're like, okay, this person has no interest in doing anything remotely fair.
Yep.
So which Cloud Post deck are they? Are they 12 Post, which we saw top 8 last week, or are we Mud, which is exactly what he's playing? There are no other 12 Post decks, at least to my legacy knowledge.
I'm racking my brain trying to think of one.
Someone will correct us.
Yeah, there's got to be. I mean, there's got to be a fair Cloud Post deck too, right? Just someone that just wants to, you know, cast Factor Fiction and cycle Decree of Justice.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. That's just some honest magic right there.
I miss those decks.
A Ponder from Guido. He's going to take a look at the top 3 cards here. No clock just yet. No Delver Secrets. No Deathrite Shaman. A Wasteland on turn 1. Very timely here. But of course, the Mud deck can still operate without Cloud Post. There's 24 lands here. Again, there's Grim Monolith. There's Metalworker. All of that stuff. So, you know, getting a Cloud Post Wastelanded, it's a big deal for 12 Posts. It's not that big of a deal for Newman's deck.
Yeah. With the fact that James leads, well, he didn't lead with, but the fact that James follows up with Wasteland, that suggests to me that he may be a little bit land light. He's at least explosive land light, I suppose.
This is a daze to take care of the Grim Monolith. I see 2 Wastelands out there. And of course, Guido's deck, he's playing Bug Delver. I am going to assume no basics.
I see 0.
Yeah, and that's not a surprise. So Wasteland's fantastic. And the fact that Newman has 2 is also rather good.
Yeah, so those Wastelands, as we get into the kind of the mid game and the late game with kind of air quotes, since this is a Mud deck, but basically once James does whatever broken thing he's going to try and do, those Wastelands are going to be very nice for their stated purpose of wasting some land. But currently, I think he's really going to need those for mana.
Yeah, at this point, especially when your opponent ponders twice, you can assume that they've probably found some additional lands. So trying to Wasteland lock them and hope they don't have anything is probably unreasonable at this point.
Sure. Yeah, they are either pondering for land or they already have a handful of land and they're pondering for action. Either way, trying to waste them off of their lands is not really the way to go.
Ponder will do a little shuffle here. Mystery card coming here for Guido. Newman still operating okay at this point. We'll see if he has, you know, any other mana acceleration. Does he have another Monolith? Does he have a land plus a Metalworker? Heck, even a land plus a Trinisphere, and then you can actually start using your Wastelands aggressively to stop from casting spells. So.
Yeah, pretty much anything at this point. Anything that costs 3 is very powerful for James. So, like, the Mud decks have a lot of peculiar, just random things that can show up. You know, like a Lightning Greaves here would be kind of weird on its own.
Yeah. I mean, they would give him something to do, but I don't think that Guido would care very much. You see a Glimmer Post going to come in here, going to trigger, do the count, going to gain 1 life. Will Newman see if he's got a 3 mana spell to play? He does. If not, he has a Lightning Greaves.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Not exactly the Barnstormer that he needs here.
And not going to fire off the Wasteland because, again, we felt like he was going to need that for mana. Now, what we could say on the next turn is a land plus a Lodestone Golem, for example.
That would be a good one.
Suit that up with a Lightning Greaves. Start to get to work on the life total. We'll see if that's what Newman works his way towards.
Yeah, James will prove me wrong yet, as I'll show you bad Lightning Greaves. Like, give my guys haste. Get in there. There's
always at least one of these in the Mud decks to be able to kill you right away. You know, Kodotha Forge Master giving that haste and then suiting up maybe a Blightsteel Colossus and killing you right away. You know, there are times where it looks kind of bad, like right now, but that could actually come back to be good later on down the road. You see Guido's going to sacrifice Misty Rainforest, go down to 18. Probably search out something that provides him with green mana, and we'll see what he wants to do this turn.
Yeah, that Lightning Greaves, it looks weird just sitting on its own, but it is part of almost all of Mud's most explosive draws.
Yeah.
I think my first encounter with this Mud deck, it involved a turn 1 Lightning Greaves into a turn 2 Metalworker, Kodotha Phoenix, Blightsteel Colossus, kill you.
Good.
Yeah,
that's what you get for making fun of
exactly.
Making fun of Lightning Greaves.
That's what Lightning Greaves can do.
Good.
So
that's not a bad. What were you playing?
Dredge.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, you deserve that
I
for
agree.
playing that deck.
I agree.
Trying to play unfair Magic. You got unfaired right out of the game.
I really did, yeah. I was on the fair end of the unfair spectrum.
A 4/5 Tarmogoyf is going to join the party. Not too surprising to see that be so big because there are artifacts involved in this matchup. So there is one in the graveyard, which is a Grim Monolith. We'll see if Newman has anything to do on this turn. See, like in a situation like this, Trinisphere now is worse.
Yes.
Because now there's a clock out there, a significant one like Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, Trinisphere turning off things that have already been cast. That's not a thing. So, yeah, once the clock is present, Trinisphere really falls behind. Trinisphere, a card you really want to get into play on turn 1. Metalworker, also a card you'd like to get in play on turn 1. That's kind of Fantasy Island in terms of legacy mud. But another card you would like to get in play as quickly as possible. Now, with this Lightning Grooves, he is going to get to go to work with it, though.
This is getting kind of scary now.
Oh.
So Metalworker's going to show 2 copies of Kodotha Forge Master. So he's got 4 mana. He can use a Wasteland, cast a Forge Master, still play around Daze. This kind of forces the hand of Guido to have Force of Will, which he doesn't. So now we get to give the Forge Master haste. This is kind of reminiscent of what happened to you.
Now, in order to do it, he would need another artifact in play. Otherwise, he would have to sacrifice the Lightning Greaves. So,
accurate.
Yes.
Accurate.
So if he did fetch up Blightsteel Colossus immediately, it would just sit there for a turn.
But I think that's all right.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Well, he doesn't need to do it right now.
Yeah, of course. He can, if he does, he can lose something like Diabolic Edict.
Sure.
Which he doesn't need to lose to.
Yeah.
And one of the things I actually really like here is the patience from Newman, because he could have just gone, okay, I'll activate this and do my stuff and put some giant dummy into play, but he doesn't actually need to.
Yeah.
So there's really no rush here. Also, the next turn he could just cast the other Forge Master and then sacrifice everything but the Greaves, get the Blightsteel and kill him. So one thing you can tell with James's patience here and the way he's been kind of playing around, you can tell he's got some experience with this deck.
Yeah, sure. That's something you see often in Legacy, I feel, with these kind of fringe decks.
Yeah.
Someone picks it up. It's a financial commitment to pick up one of these decks.
Agreed.
Even a fringe deck, of course. Yeah, this deck doesn't have dual lands, still very expensive. And then once you pick it up, you gotta figure out how it works.
James had a response to Abrupt Decay.
There we go.
just a minor one.
Yeah, Abrupt Decay this.
Yeah. I will replace that with something else. Hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
I cost 12.
Yeah, you indeed do. Oh, Tarmogoyf doesn't want to attack, huh?
Funny how that works.
So I guess it's likely on blocking duty, yes. So we're going to have to get our infect counter out now. We're going to have to really put the directors at work. Now here's a Wasteland to take down the green
Wasteland
source.
looking excellent here.
This was a pretty. I don't want to say it's a one-sided affair, but this is a game I like the way that James Newman played this game. He just seemed in control the entire time on what he wanted to accomplish. Sure. Not in a rush with those Wastelands. His Cloud Post died, that's fine. That's one of the reasons I actually kind of like this particular Cloud Post deck against 12 Post. When you kill their Wasteland, their deck does not really function appropriately. That's part of the reason they have to start Pithing Needle.
Right.
To actually name Wasteland. So either way, James Newman's going to win game number 1 here over Matt Guido. Mud up a game over Bug Delver. You've got the Bug Delver sideboard in front of you. What do we see?
I see 3 Spell Pierce. I think I like that. 2 Agare Charm, 2 Disfigure, 1 Dismember, 1 Sylvan Library, 1 Surgical Extraction, 1 Null Rod. Hey, I like that one.
Hey.
1 Pithing Needle, I like that one too. And 1 Grafdigger's Cage and 2 Vendilion Click. So actually, a pretty good spread of options here. Of course, I love the Null Rod. I love the Pithing Needle. Grafdigger's Cage actually turns off Kodotha Forge Master. It doesn't completely turn it off. It stops it from putting creatures into play.
So that means, let me see what I got here.
Yep.
A Staffanin. You can't stop that. You can't stop Spine of Isha. You can't stop Staff of Domination. All right, Grafdigger's Cage is good against me.
It's good, but actually, having said that, like just those 3 cards you named, just being able to search those up is pretty sweet.
It's not bad. It's not like the card advantage engine that Staffanin provides against Bug Delver is probably good.
Yeah. Good enough that it's probably not worth bringing in Grafdigger's Cage. Although, having just lost to the blowout Blightsteel Colossus, I can see being tempted to bring it in. Spell Pierce is on the play. It would be nice to have some insurance against things like turn 1 Chalices, Grim Monoliths, things like that, Trinispheres.
Even though he didn't see Chalice, he didn't see Trinisphere, I think if Matt knows about the Mud deck, it's not like the biggest deck on the Legacy scene, but if he knows a little bit, he's going to bring those cards
Chalice is the reason that these decks exist, I think, generally. So, I think it's safe to assume that that's a card he has to worry about. I still am not sure you actually want Spell Pierce. Of course, it's good against Chalice on turn 1. It's really bad against Chalice after that. The removal, he has 2 Disfigures and a Dismember. Maybe he wants to fight over Metalworker. I don't necessarily think you do. It really kind of comes down to what all he wants to take out. The 4 Hymns don't seem very good. Honestly, all of these cards are kind of middling to okay.
Like, as far as options go, I would rather have him to try to get lucky, I think, than to have Days.
On the play? I think I want Days on the play.
I think I want Days on the play. Yeah, because I don't want to get chalice on 1.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think I do want Days
Don't
on
want
the
to
play.
get chalice on 1. You don't get metal workered on 2 if you can help it.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
I think you do want Days on play. I would probably just cut the hymns going into game 2 on the play and bring in the Pithing Needle, the Null Rod, and 2 Vendilion Click maybe? Or maybe a spread of like a Click and a Dismember or something like that. Dismember can kill the Forge Master as well as the Metalworker. So
that's true.
So Dismember, I think, has enough utility that you definitely win it as well.
3 Tormod scripts, a Karn Liberated, 2 Witchbane Orb, 1 Crucible of Worlds, 2 All is Dust, 1 Batter Skull. I'm trying not to laugh. 1 Steel Hell's Kite, 2 Pith Needle, a Buried Ruin, and a Spine of Isha. Yeah, you better believe it. That's why this format's the best, because I just got to read those sideboard cards.
Yeah, sure.
And these are all reasonable for this deck. What's he supposed to bring in? Who knows? Karn? Well, I would bring it in because it's like my favorite Magic card.
Right.
I don't think it's appropriate, but I'd bring it in.
Why is Karn a sideboard card?
I don't know. When you go, I need that for this.
Yeah, Karn is not a precision tool. I mean, come on.
That turns this matchup around, or all of them. Let's see. All its Dust is way too expensive. Batter Skull's okay. Steel Hellkite's okay. Needle would name like Deathrite Shaman.
Or Liliana.
Liliana, okay. Buried Ruin if you want additional land. Spine is expensive no matter what, so I don't think you need that. That's more for show and tell anyway. Crucible?
Yeah, no, I like Crucible and Buried Ruin here.
Okay.
Because I think he can safely assume that his opponent does not have a basic land, so you can get the Crucible Wasteland locks going. It's also pretty important against opposing Wastelands. I think one of the Delver deck's best tools against Mud is to try and cut it off of its mana.
Sure.
So I think bringing in just a little bit of insulation, making your mana base a little bit more robust. That's my instinct. Now, we were joking about Karn. Yeah, I want Karn. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what my opponent could have.
Yeah, there are other like the smaller, subtler things. Yeah, make your mana base a little better. Sure, I can get behind that. In terms of like what giant whammies to take out for other giant whammies, that I can only foolishly speculate.
Also, like realistically, if you do get a card in play against this deck, I can't imagine you possibly losing. Like once it's actually in play, it seems like it'd be difficult to lose. I mean, there are situations that will arise. Maybe you're too overwhelmed and Karn won't save you. But I think in a lot of situations like that, probably nothing will save you.
True.
So I think that it can be a goal to try to get Karn in play and then just go up and down and all around and take care of them. So we'll see. Or maybe I just really want to see a Karn in play in Legacy.
I want that too. I'm with you on that note.
So now what I'm doing is I'm thinking of expensive artifacts to round 2 from like you know how like Mirrodin has like expensive artifacts that like don't get played.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like Possessed Portal. Yeah. No, Sundering Titan's in the deck. There's 2 of those.
Okay.
But I'm thinking of like like the really expensive bad ones like Mycosynth Lattice.
What is that? The Mycosynth turns everything into an artifact, right? Is that what that does?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It costs like 9 or something. Yeah. Darksteel Forge. Tired of getting your things abrupt decayed? Pay 10?
Make 16 or something?
Yeah, Darksteel Reactor.
Yeah, why not?
That's when Magic gets real fun. We're going to start game 2 here. Ooh, we're going to fire off a Wasteland on the Bayou.
Okay, that's...
the face of a Deathrite, that's telling.
Yeah, that is not on the script, Like, that's not necessarily... James's deck, despite having 4 Wastelands, is certainly not a Wasteland deck.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, we're not trying to, gain tempo or kind of steal wins with Wastelands.
Maybe our opponent didn't have any lands. This may have been really good, actually. Here's a Ponder that has to be done off of the Deathrite Shaman activation. I think what he's doing is, and I think there might be some confusion on when this is actually being cast, which is on Matt's turn.
Yep.
So I think the judge is just making sure that you're not doing this end of turn because the Deathrite Shaman is summoning.
Yes. So yeah, Matt doing it on his turn, no doubt looking for a land if he doesn't have one. Now, if he doesn't find one, this is bad news.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
The old bad news brainstorm is... The worst news brainstorm is the turn 2 bad news brainstorm.
Well, given I'm one to pick up on body language, I have a feeling. I don't have a great look at his hand. I don't know if he has a land. I got a feeling he doesn't have a land. But he could just be brainstorming and thinking really hard. So
maybe he just always looked kind of vaguely saddish.
All right, take a draw.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has one. Okay, there we go. Oh, there we go.
All right, see, my read's wrong. That's why I don't play anymore. That's why I stay in the box.
Is that why? That was it, right?
That's the one.
You woke up one morning, where are my reeds?
Yeah, because that's what I sound like. You're right.
In the morning. Yeah, man, you got to clear your throat, you know?
An Underground Sea going to come in and play off of the Verdant Catacombs.
All right, so Matt's going to get to play some Magic here, which is good for us. We get to actually watch some Magic rather than just watch James hee-haw all over his opponent.
This is true. Even though that's all James wants to do.
True.
That's the gameplay. I mean, he's done it 6 times, apparently.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either of them, actually.
Yeah.
I was the one that chose this feature match.
That's true.
I picked him for a reason.
That's true.
I would like to see some hee-hawage.
To be fair, we know the people at home love Mud.
True.
We do know that. Not everyone wants to see Delver mirrors all day. Sometimes people just want to see Delver get their teeth kicked in, which happened game 1. So.
Yeah, and I think Mud actually is a deck that has a reputation for kicking Delver's teeth in.
Yeah, the thing I like about Mud, too, is they can beat Delver without, a lot of people think that they can only beat Delver if they have Chalice for 1.
Right.
But they can just play a normal game of Magic.
Yeah.
There's a null, that's going to change stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, a normal game of Magic, you said, huh?
Best flavor text in Magic?
No,
Ron?
Does nothing for me.
I don't know. I like I think it might have the best flavor text.
Come on.
I just went over the top of your joke.
I went over
the top of your joke. I wasn't going to let that happen.
That hurt.
I was not going to let it happen.
That hurt.
For me, it's this or the promo version of Fact or Fiction.
I do not know that one.
I think it's...
Apparently you don't either.
No, I think it's... I don't know the exact words. It's like, I think it's pretend to know what you think is important.
Oh,
something like that.
Okay, that's fancy.
Basically talking about how you can't split it appropriately.
Okay.
Which is true because it's Fact or Fiction.
Okay. I'm a huge fan of the Vision reparations. Sorry we burned down your village. Here's some gold.
Really?
That one. Yeah,
that's good.
I love that
that's
one. Last Word. I always like Last Word.
Last Word's great.
Yeah,
Last Word's great.
I don't remember exactly how it's phrased, but it's a really satisfying one.
Chalice of the Void in the house. This is for 1 because the Glimmer Post provides another locus. So, and this is a little late to the party.
Yeah.
But it's still good.
Sure. Yeah, the good news is Chalice, you don't have to activate it.
Yeah.
It doesn't care about a null rod.
So now Chalice, I'm assuming this resolves, and that is going to resolve now that the die's on it. It's for 1. Now don't forget, with Chalice, it's your card, so you have to, your opponent can still play 1-mana spells.
Yes.
But you have to remember to trigger your card, given the new rules.
Yes. The Chalice is one of the few cards that I think functionally changed with the new rules.
Yes.
Previously, if you had a Chalice, then you were safe. The rules were going to take care of you.
Yep.
He doesn't have a Chalice anymore, so there's that.
Yeah, so we can just end the Chalice discussion.
Right.
One of the things actually about Guido's deck too, even though he's stuck on 1 land right now, it has a death right, is that he actually has a pretty healthy amount of 2-mana spells. Tarmogoyf, Tombstalk can go over the top, Abrupt Decay can take care of the Chalice. So, Chalice against Rug, for example, it's almost like a lock.
Yeah.
But when you're playing its Bug, it's pretty realistic it doesn't actually stay on the table.
Yeah, I think the real draw of a Chalice is when you can stick it on turn 1 and turn off the Ponders and Brainstorms. Because if you get to do that, then you kind of degrease the engine.
A Staff of Domination has shown up to the party. No flavor text necessary. Too much text.
Yeah, the whole card is flavor text. One of those abilities is just flavor, right? I don't know which one it is, but come on. Look at this card. Too many abilities.
Delver into play, Deathrite into the red zone. We'll see if Newman has something to do on this turn. He's going to play an Ancient Tomb. This is going to move him up to 5 mana. 2 from Cloud Post, 2 from Tomb, 1 from the Glimmer Post. See if he has anything exciting to do, as he does take 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a Kodotha Forge Master. Is there a Daze or something hanging out? Because now he's 1 artifact away. But, the Null Rod's going to really slow down some of the things here.
Yeah, well, of course, you can't search for anything as long as that Null Rod's in play. I don't believe James has any way to get Null Rod off the board either, does he?
Can I say Spine of Isha?
You can. You sure can.
I really don't want to, but I can.
You just did. That was the thing.
There's your out.
Yeah, all right. That works. That's the only one in the main deck, it looks like. And there's another one on the board. So that and Steel Hellkite doesn't work. You have to activate it. Karn.
Oh, no. Why does everything have to be 7 mana to get this thing off the table?
It's a Mud deck. Everything has to be 7 mana, just period.
A shuffle here with the 1 mana Ponder. We'll be giving Matt a new card in just a moment. You saw Delver flip into Insectile Aberration. This game looks like it's pretty favorable for Matt at this point.
Yeah, I feel good about this if I'm Matt.
For those of you wondering at home, the flavor text on the promo Fact or Fiction I was talking about was try to pretend like you understand what's important. That's my favorite flavor text in Magic.
Okay, all right. That's so condescending. Should have been on Condescend, right? That is the actual most condescending flavor text I've ever heard.
So good, though. It's so good for Fact or Fiction.
It's pretty good.
In for 3 we go. Of course, Deathright can't attack in the face of that 3-5. But fortunately for Guido, that 3-5 that's in play in Forge Master can't do anything. It's just a 3-5 for 5 mana because of the Null Rod. And Null Rod's actually a card, and I know you were in Somerset last weekend. It's not a card that we have seen a lot of in sideboards, but taking a look at some of the deck lists, you had Rinkowitz with one in his sideboard, and Eli Cassis also had it. And those guys are, for people who don't know that area and those two players.
They play a lot of Legacy, and they play it well.
Yes. Both of those guys play a ton of Legacy, and that's when you start to see those cards in people's sideboards, you can go, that's a Legacy player.
Yes.
That's a Legacy player right there. Forge Master going to come in for 3 here. So we got a bit of a damage race on the ground. Deathright with the ability to gain life and also, of course, drain a little bit, but without any mana right now because of that Wasteland from Newman.
Yeah, Null Rod, that's a card I saw last week. James Rinkovich brought it in against Death and Taxes. Sorry, no, James did not. Eli brought it in against Death and Taxes. Not an artifact deck, you know? It's just, like, let's bring it in and turn off Aether Vial. That's where he went with that. And it looked great on camera.
All right.
A lot of some finesse there. It's just like, seems like a blunt instrument. And on this board, it's very much a blunt instrument.
I would agree.
A little more of a dynamic to it in certain other matchups.
Misty Rainforest is going to get sacrificed. Guido's going to go down to 15, going to figure out what land he wants to search out, and it will be an Underground Sea. Present his deck after shuffling in just a moment here. Right now, I still feel like we're in any one game territory. I thought the second Forge Master, I feel like, changes things a little bit. It depends on what Matt has, though, to follow up. It looks like he's going to reach for some mana. Like, a Tarmogoyf really does just block the road really well here.
Yeah, I mean, just any decent-sized ground creature. Not that there are any other than Tarmogoyf, really, but yeah, it's strange how if the bug deck doesn't get to disrupt your mana, you can just start jamming Siege Mastodons, and that's like starts to feel like it's good enough.
Yeah, see, a 4-5, that's what we were looking for.
Yeah, 4-5 versus 3-5.
Blocks well, and it'll attack better eventually. You have to imagine Newman's going to take a draw here. And you mentioned too that there's no real way to get Null Rod off of the table, so he's just playing some relatively fair Magic. I mean, there's a Metal Worker, sure.
Yeah, I mean, you got to spend a lot of mana to get it off the table. That's for sure. And these cards are so obscure. Some of them I don't even recognize. Some of them. Normally, we're sitting here, we see them kind of flicking around cards in their hand. I'm like, oh, that card, I know that card. It's a Brainstorm. I know what a Brainstorm looks like.
Yep.
But I'm not sure I could spot a Spine of Ishsaw.
I take great pride in my ability to snipe those cards at the brief second that I have the opportunity to look at them.
All right.
I don't know what's in Newman's hand.
Not
there yet. That's why I haven't talked about it.
I see. Okay.
Come on, just give me a little look, James.
Yeah.
I can figure it out. I don't think there's a Spine of Ishsaw in his hand, though.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, I'd be surprised if he has in his deck after sideboard.
No, I agree. It does not seem particularly useful.
He's got one in his main, one in his sideboard. I imagine if we do play a third game, he'll probably board in either the one in his sideboard or the two. If he moved the one in his main deck out to take care of this problem. It's just kind of ironic that the one Null Rod showed up this particular game.
Sure. What matchup do you want your second Spine of Ishsaw?
Show and tell.
Oh, sure.
Show and tell is the actual one. The only reason I know this is because I remember this very well. My first show ever, Delver's going to come across here for 3 in the air, putting him down to 8. My first show ever at the Origin Convention in June 2 years ago, I did with Joey Pasco. Todd Anderson cast a Hypergenesis.
Oh, I was standing over his shoulder. I remember this moment. It was beautiful. Sorry, go on.
Well, the opponent did a lot better than Todd did.
He did.
On Hypergenesis.
Yes.
And Todd's deck is supposed to abuse Hypergenesis.
Yes, it was beautiful. Eric Fry was the opponent.
Yes. Look at you.
Yeah, like I said, I was literally 3 feet away when this happened.
There's a little Blightsteel action, I think. I know Spine came into play, some other gigantic things, and Todd's just like, all right, you win.
Yeah, he put a Forge Master into play, and then on his next turn, he did the Greaves Blightmaster dance.
I like that. I like that dance. Newman's going to go down to 3 here. No real way for him to get out of the situation. All kidding aside, of course, the Null Rod is just the biggest problem that's on the table.
Yeah. This game really does come down to answer Null Rod or no. And at this stage in the game, you actually need to answer Null Rod and do something. Now, having said that, you can answer as soon as you answer Null Rod, you get to activate those call out the Forge Masters. So actually, if he has the answer, he would have to do something like a land that produces 2 mana, and cast again Spine of Ishsaw, Karn, and then he Koldathas into I don't know what. And I don't think James does either. So.
Yeah, so James is going to pack it up and pack it in. Going to game number 3 here between Bug, Delver, and Mud. These players will shuffle up. We'll see if they go back to the drawing board here, but now what we have on the Twitter, again at SCG Live, hashtag SCGINDY, we've got people's favorite flavor text.
Oh, nice.
Rolling in. A lot
excellent,
of...
Excellent.
Oh, this is, all right, this is debatable. Greatness at any cost. Start confident, honestly.
I love that one.
People are saying that's by far the best flavor text.
Well, nothing is by far the best. Come on, it's a little subjective. But no, that one is fantastic. There are layers to that one.
It was probably a lousy spell in the first place. Tempest counterspell.
Yeah, okay. That was the counterspell of choice for me back in the day.
Okay.
I did like that one. That was those like smug blue mage. Those
ones are all really good.
They're cool, but they all kind of run together. Now, having said that, when we were talking about our favorites, we both thought of one. So I guess there is some appeal to those. Yeah, I can feel that.
They're pretty good. The blue cards, not only are they the best, but they have good flavor text. Could you imagine? I always think about this. Like the cards that don't have flavor text that are awesome. Can you imagine like Cryptic Command's flavor text? It's just like, you lose. That would just be it. You can't win. This card's too good. Like there are some cards out there that don't have flavor text. I think the flavor text would be really, really good on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like the flavor text of Cryptic Command is choose 2.
Yeah.
Like that's its flavor.
Yeah.
That's the distinctive part of it. So
opponent, you can choose them. I don't care. You can't win.
How would you like to die?
Yeah, you have no shot. I got to cast Cryptic Command. I can't think of Cruel Ultimatums.
There is always a greater power.
Yeah, that's good flavor text.
Yeah, that is a good one too.
That's good. I actually, I as much as I love my job in the booth, could you imagine your job being creating flavor text for cards?
Yeah, that sounds sweet.
That sounds real good.
It's weird. I don't think of myself as like a flavor guy,
Me
really,
either.
but I am surprising myself presently with like how many random flavor texts I can conjure up.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm a little more into flavor text than I think I am.
Especially when it's good, it sticks out.
That is true.
Yeah, when it's good, it sticks out. Because like right now we're talking about all these cards, and most of them are blue. Like I can't think of any green flavor text.
I can't either. I was gonna spit one out, but the Werebear one. There's the right to bear arms, right?
Ah, okay.
Right.
That's right. That's accurate.
Yeah, Gorilla Titan wants the banana this big.
Look at you. Yeah. I'm not a flavor text guy, but who knows? I don't even know what Gorilla Titan does, but I know the flavor text.
It's a 4/4 that when it's a
turn 8/8.
When you have thresholds an 8/8, yeah. And he just sits there like holding his arms out, like measuring a 6-foot-long banana, and the flavor text is like, I want a banana this big.
Play Magic way too much.
It's true. We both do.
I couldn't do like geometry or any sort of math that matters to the world, but flavor text stuff like Gorilla Titan, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Is that on Jeopardy?
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
I'm a lock.
Speaking of obscure Odyssey block flavor text, one of my personal favorites, actually, Deep Analysis. Do you remember this one?
I know it's a picture of Masticore with his head cut off.
Yes, it's a picture of Masticore. That's part of the joke. And then the flavor text is...
this specimen must be broken.
The specimen appears to be broken.
Yes. So good.
Which, if you were playing Standard when Masticore was a thing, or especially if you were playing Limited when Masticore was a thing, the original Masticore, the specimen was broken. Broken all to hell.
It was like, it's not even, it's crazy to think that like now, like when Masticore's in the cube, and it's just like, well, whatever, take any other card. It's just not good.
It is absurd. I've noticed that in the Moto cube.
Yeah.
Like I get like 13th pick Masticores, and I mean sometimes I play them, sometimes I don't. The cards, you're right, just not that good.
I think people who didn't play Magic then,
they
don't understand that. Yeah, Masticore was just completely and utterly busted.
Well, Masticore was terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, Masticore, huh? All right, you win. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Nice card, idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot all your stuff down, kill you. I don't care if I discard. That's fine. You see, Matt is going to take a mulligan here. James is pretty happy. James is with a 7-carder on the play, too. So we could see a quick Chalice of the Void or something like that to start the show.
Yeah, as we said earlier, the Mud deck kind of has a reputation for preying on Delver. Delver has a reputation for preying on opponents who are on the draw. So it doesn't have one of those opponents this time around. So, yeah. 7 cards on the play, Mud v Delver. You got to think the Mud deck is a substantial favorite.
Yeah, I do. Now, again, we saw in the last game when James had a Chalice for 1, it did die Abrupt Decay. So even though Chalice for 1 isn't a lock, the thing is, you did mention when it comes ahead of schedule of the Brainstorm, the Deathrite, the Ponder, the Delver, that's when it's at its best.
Yes.
Because it forces the opponent to have Abrupt Decay, or they really can't function.
Yeah. Well, not only does it say Abrupt Decay this, or you just don't get to play Magic, but it also says Abrupt Decay this before you get to play Magic.
Yes.
Because these decks just don't succeed when they have to go land into Abrupt Decay before they get to do anything.
Down to 5 we go.
Yeah.
I keep saying this is like the third time I said this is the third time I said this week, and it's like seems like a bad time to go to 5, and you're basically playing for top 8. But again, there's no good time to go to 5.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? If Todd and Riley are battling it out right now on table 1, I don't think they care if they go to 5.
I guess
They might have went to 0.
Yeah.
They're the kind of guys that would do it too.
Riley looks another top 8. He top 8's a lot with elves.
He does. Yep. He doesn't top 8 much with anything else.
That's true.
Yeah.
But he does get the job done with
Got
elves.
a little dagger in there at Riley. I'll make sure he knows I said that too. But yeah, Riley, a good friend of mine. He is very good with elves, actually. Yes. He has a Legacy Open win in Columbus last year with it.
Very nice. Cloud Post to start things off. Matt with a Tropical Island into a Ponder. So we'll see if James has anything explosive to do on the second turn of the game. But for right now, Guido is going to resolve the Ponder. He'll take a look at the top 3, consult the grip, and see how he wants to move forward. You know, probably looking for a card like Force of Will or, you know, an additional land to be able to cast Abrupt Decay, maybe Abrupt Decay, something like that. Don't know the real texture of his hand outside of what looks to be a Tarmogoyf. And it looks like he is going to shuffle.
Yeah.
Doesn't look thrilled about it either.
I think you're right that if anytime you lead with Ponder rather than with a threat, you're likely looking for probably a threat to go with the Force of Will that you kept, or a blue card to go with your Force of Will. Now, having said that, Matt did go to 5.
Yeah.
Matt is just keeping lands and spells at this point.
Pretty much.
So it's hard to make any real estimates about what he would have kept, what his range of keeps is. Like I said, his keep is anything where you can cast something.
Mystery card comes, Ponder resolves, and that'll be the turn. Newman will take a draw. This is a Glimmer Post.
Ooh, we get to do kind of spicy things. 3 mana, turn 2. What do you got?
Takes a look. He's going to try to play around Days of
Yeah, I think that was the look-see there.
3 mana. 4. That's a Witchbane Orb.
Huh.
He's going to take a look at it. We're going to do the same. I know exactly what that does. It counters all curses. Kills them all.
Yeah, so he's just brought it in. He's worried about Curse of Death's Hold. Yeah. Double Curse of Death's Hold, turning off his Metalworkers.
It also gives him Hexproof. Now, why would he want Hexproof? There's him. There's
Thoughtseize, Liliana.
Okay.
Those are the big ones.
Okay.
I believe that's it. Vendilion Click.
Okay.
So nothing really backbreaking, but a couple of just generically powerful cards, really.
So the big question is, you know, he cast this and he cashed in a monolith to do so.
Yeah.
Is that worth it? We're going to find out.
I wouldn't think so myself.
Yeah,
but,
we're definitely going to find out. Because if he has additional land, then he can untap it and then continue to play. Here's a Needle.
Oh, okay, well. Because it's a good thing he used that monolith when he could.
Yep.
So, yeah, having said that, yeah, Matt, now that the monolith's tapped, he could name something else. Just kind of start naming in the dark.
Yeah, Kadotha Forge Master, which is probably the best name.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so good. There's a Trinisphere. You better have a Daze. Or Force.
Looks like he does not. So it's gonna be a good minute before Matt gets to cast his spells.
Yikes. Now, of course, Trinisphere, the fun text on Trinisphere is as long as it's untapped, every spell costs 3, which is kind of strange. I'm sure for the vintage players out there, there's some sort of interaction there that I don't really know about. And, you know, that text on there is relevant. But as long as that's untapped, everything costs 3. Straight up. That's it. If you think like Dismember, if I pay 1 mana, no, it costs 3.
Yep.
That's what every judge has always told me. Just shut up, it costs 3.
Yes.
Yep.
There's so many corner cases where you think like, there's so many keywords that affect the way something costs, so you think maybe we can fiddle with it, but no. Always costs 3.
A Sundering Titan is going to get the job done for James Newman with Mud, defeating Matt Guido 2-1. Bug Delver gets taken down by all those artifacts. Sundering Titan killing the last land. Matt didn't have lands anyway, couldn't cast spells to go to Trinisphere, and was able to power out that Titan. And by the way, if he had a Force Will, it would have cost 3.
Sure would have. So. And a blue card, actually.
Yeah, that's true, too. Let's not forget that life.
Yeah.
James Newman moves on, to 7-1. We'll see with any luck for him if he can draw into the top 8, have Mud in the top 8.
Yeah, I suspect there will be more matches that have to play instead of draw than there will be matches that get to draw, actually. It's going to be a little bit of a logjam, but I'm rooting for him. I want to see some giant metally monsters in this top 8.
It's fun to watch him play. Again, I like that, you know, he seems like he really knows how to play his deck. And as you mentioned, when people kind of play fringy decks, they're decks that they have invested in and played for a while.
Yes.
So we're going to